Lori, would you do roll call, please?
Abdurrahman.
Here.
Casey.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
Allison.
Here.
Nick.
Here.
Gabe.
Here.
Braden.
Okay. And I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Next up, we have community public comments. I don't see any online.
And then
None here? No one's here? Okay. We'll move right into presentations then. And up first, Shive Hatter, you're here for some updates about precast.
I do.
Lori's joined us.
Oh, hello, Maury.
Hello.
Do you want me to plug in? Yeah, sorry, Chris. Sorry. There we go. Right. Hello, everyone. I'm here today just to give you an update. We did send out a PR proposal request at the beginning of July that kind of went over some significant precast changes with our addition onto the middle school and high school. Just as an overview, for those that might not be as familiar with the construction process, a PR essentially is a proposal request that we're asking the contractor to give us a cost and kind of a scope update and if there's any time implications or anything to the changes that we're making. So they have about 14 days to respond to that PR. So we should hear back on what their cost, what their scope changes, and then any time impacts that would have. We're hoping to hear back about the middle of next week. And so these changes were specifically driven by the precast subcontractor that was hired through Peak. Basically, a lot of it was to do with the thickness of our walls, the location of our openings, and just making sure that it was meeting the wind loads appropriate for the code requirements for a storm shelter. So I'm going to start at the high school with some of the significant changes that were made. I do want to preface that our main intent with these, we went back and forth with the subcontractor quite a bit, and our main intent was to minimize any impact to instructional space, and then to not affect egress or have minimal cost implications to the project. And so at this point, we are expecting to see a minimal cost increase, if any at all, is what we're anticipating to see back from Peak next week. So the walls that I've highlighted here are kind of the portion of the storm shelter that were impacted by this, that they had asked us to basically get thicker. And so the one area that was impacted was the ag lab. We were able to find a solution on this north wall and just change the CMU size, but we did lose 2 inches of instructional space on this east wall. So minimal impact there that we could afford. And then same goes here, this orange wall as well. We shifted over 2 inches and took a little bit of space, square footage out of industrial tech. And for kind of context, it was about 8 square feet that were lost in total. So pretty minimal, which on our end is fantastic news. So, and again, to not affect egress on the north side, we were able to just change that CMU wall to 6 inches to adapt for the thickness of the precast needing to go from 10 inches to 12 inches. So that was their primary concern that we addressed. And then there were a couple openings. You can kind of see all the red bubbles that we have of just openings that they were asking to shift slightly. And then over at the middle school, we kind of had the same situation. They were asking this precast wall to go from 10 inches to 12 inches in thickness. We had anticipated a small gap in between the existing exterior of your building, and we have kind of a shaft wall in between before we get to that precast. We were able to just shift that closer to the existing, so there is no impact to instructional space over at the middle school. And we did change some of our opening sizes for our windows on the middle school to kind of meet those requirements needed for the precast. So those kind of are, in terms of cost, would be, we have smaller windows in that location, so we'll be interested to see back those costs. Are there any questions or concerns that you guys have with what we put together?
So are these changes from 10 inches to 12 inches for storm shelter, is that due to state regulations or is that due to the subcontractors' regulation or their
That was due, great question. Primarily that is to do with the ICC 500 code regulation change from the 2020 to the 2023 edition. They increased their wind loads for structure. So the precast manufacturer needs the thickness of the wall to meet those wind loads. Versus, on East Ridge we did use a 10-inch, but that was the older code version. So because those loads increased, we are now required to then thicken up those walls. So instead of a solid 10-inch precast wall, we now have 5 inches of concrete, 2 inches of insulation, and then 5 inches of concrete. So it's the same amount of concrete in the wall construction, it's just they need that overall thickness to meet those load requirements.
I guess kind of piggybacking off that though is like, when did that happen in 2023? That change in code?
It's the 2023 code, yes. It was not actually approved or accepted by Tiffin until about midway through design of this project.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess maybe what I'm thinking big picture is like, do we anticipate other things like this changing because of different, like, is this it? Now, I know you can't say for sure, but like, is this like the main code change that occurred, or are there other things in the design now that we should anticipate
This
changes that might cost money?
Yes, fair question. I can't necessarily speak for everything, but we are not anticipating there being any like large cost implications due to the code. This is kind of like a niche code requirement because it is a storm shelter, because it needs to be rated. It's kind of in a different avenue, and then also what each precast manufacturer is able to provide does vary. So when we constructed East Ridge, we had a different precaster that they could theoretically meet that before, versus the subcontractor we have now. It was kind of we had to work with them and what we have with this. So no, we are not anticipating additional cost changes.
Great follow-up to you. So the roof is going to be okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The roof we did, you mean on top of the storm shelter?
Right, because this had to be upgraded for storm shelter. The roof is under code already, what's designed?
Yes.
Okay.
We did, so we had about 6 meetings with the, our architectural team and then our structural team at Shive Hattery with the sub-consultant and Peak involved to work through every nook and cranny of the storm shelter design. And so they did address the roofs, they addressed the precast tees, and then double checked calculations and everything like that. So the roof is acceptable and does meet code.
Good.
So there's no changes to the roof structure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next presentation type item is we're doing an update on the 2026-27 board goals and alignment with strategic plan. And I'll have Mr. Davidson talk about it in a minute, but I just wanted to orient everyone that this is going to we're working this into our yearly meeting schedule, that July will be our time to come back to strategic plan, touch base on what really we're going to focus in on as a district for the next year. This year we're doing strategic plan tonight, and it'll also how it interfaces with some of the goals Aaron's setting for himself. In future years, we'll also on that the same night review facilities committee recommendation. So we just had that in June. Like next year, that will be folded into this type of meeting. And then we have our board self-assessment after we talk to Dr. Shares next month. So we've spread out this first year, but just so you know, in the future, it'll be one cohesive kind of yearly reset of the board self-assessment, facilities recommendations, and strategic planning goals, and Mr. Davidson's goals. So I just want to let you know, like, it feels like one thing tonight, but in the future it will be more of our yearly retreat type reset event. So with that though, I'll hand it over to you.
So, looks like Kale's working on, you should have access to it in front of you. So my plan was just to quickly summarize each before we move on to the other ones. I'll give you time to ask questions if you have any. But in summarizing, again, this strategic plan, which the board asked me to update last year, we did it in early August. It seemed a little bit we were attacking something that was a pretty big beast at the time, but I think if we don't have a North Star, and ultimately the strategic plan is our North Star outside of our mission and vision, it had to be done. And our directors specifically really dug their heels in, worked with our admin team to be able to put these in place. And so I just wanted to, on top of the presentations throughout the school year, like Allison said, in July, to be able to come back to these and kind of summarize. So for student achievement, of course, we want all of our students, not some, but all of our 100% of our students to show growth in reading, math, and science. By June 2026, as you can see in the document, we were aiming for at least 3% growth at each grade level on the ISAS. And of course, that's all of our 3rd through 11th grade students. Students before and 12th grade students, we typically don't look at those data points. We wanted 80% of our youngest learners, so you look at the K2 grade span hitting their benchmarks on FastBridge and the MAP assessments. To keep ourselves on track, we looked at a variety of indicators from state tests, seasonal screenings, to everyday classroom observations, and collaborative teacher team reviews. Again, Christine Mangridge, as our curriculum director, does a great job of making sure she's overseeing and staying on top of it. Because of new ISAS state testing format and norm processing that was rolled out last summer of 2026, our math and reading state data is temporarily delayed. So that's not just for us, it's across the state. So we don't have those numbers. We'll be able to bring that to you as soon as we have it. And I'm sure Christine will be the one standing at the podium going through that data. Our math, and again, because our math and reading, we'll be bringing that data to you. In the meantime, we're relying on FastBridge and MAP growth to gauge how our students are doing. You can see some of those numbers within that data. We plan to carry these goals into the 26-27 school year, keeping our eyes on 100% proficiency for adjusting for the unique needs of each grade level. It's also important to note, if you recall, we did not renew our MAP testing simply because of the roughly $50-some thousand price tag and how we were utilizing it. It's no fault to anyone, but it's exactly why I was surprised why CCA, a district our side, had MAP. So I don't know if Christine's here, but we do have some other assessments in place. When you remove an assessment, you have to replace it with something. There's a normed number of assessments you have to have specific to grade levels. Any questions on student achievement? I mean, that's of course a very big one for us as a school district.
I looked at the numbers that were there. I know it's not ISASP yet.
Yep.
So, and I saw it's quite variable by grade where we're at. So when we say 3% growth per grade level, we mean literally
per
like
student.
Okay, per student per grade level.
Yep, we want a 3% growth. And then when you look at the grade levels, yes, you're taking, like if you're norming,
Yeah.
that 3%. And for us at CCA, it's a little bit harder when you're sitting at 80%. That's where the challenge comes. But that, Christine and I have talked a lot about that. I came from a district that the scores weren't nearly as high. coming to CCA, our challenge is different. It's not to get kids, again, 80% is that magic number in education.
Right.
And like I said, since I've started, like 80% is fantastic, but what are we doing for that other 20%?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Well, I was just wondering if it's more that we want to see an average, like if across grades, the average growth is 3%. Because like you're gonna have some that are not quite 3% and some that are over 3%. But like if overall in the district we're seeing our average growth by grade is 3%, or if is it specifically like we're gonna look at kindergarten 3%, first grade 3%. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, the way, is Christine here?
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for her, Christine, you
Yeah.
can jump in, but
Sure.
Christine's gonna look at that data specifically to grade levels. I use the term silos specific to buildings.
Yeah.
Specific to grade span, so we're talking across the district, all our first graders growing 3%.
Yeah, at least 3%. When we looked at, when you look at the data by grade level, we know we've got some pockets of areas
Yeah.
to work on big time. So, but then we have people at 90%, 91%, some grade levels. And so we still want to keep those kids growing. So that's why we set a goal that was looking like that rather than just like all kids at 80%. We wanted to really kind of push it a little bit because we knew some who are at 50, they're not going to be at 80. Let's get this reasonable and see some progress.
And then our building administrators and teacher leaders,
Yeah.
based on their building data, will take that and set that building
Yeah.
goal off of this strategic.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so they're personalizing it based on their needs and their building on this too. Yeah. Yep.
So how do you consider the goal being reached if it's 3% at every? I mean, does it need to be every single grade get 3%? Then you reach the goal, or if one grade doesn't, then you failed that goal.
I don't
I mean,
look
not-
at it as failing the
Right,
goal,
yeah.
but like
Lack
ultimately,
of a better term.
the hard part with education today is our school report card, our performance, our report card school performance profile is going to dictate what our community and what the people across the state of Iowa or nationally, if they wanted to see what CCA offered, they're going to go to that data holder to see how our kids are doing. And so for us, like I think it's really important if we're hovering between 78 and 81% in all of our core areas to be able to continue. Now, is growing from 81.6 to 82.1 growth? Yes. I think you could argue with data that 3% up, 3% raise or a 3% decrease is really flatlined. So that's where that 3% comes in. So I mean, if we can show growth that our grade spans are growing, I think we're doing the right work, especially in a system our size that's continuing to get more kids.
To kind of touch on what Nick is saying, is there a way? I mean, we know how many students we have. We know where they stand, where they stand, and how it correlates to the state average. If everybody goes up by 3%, kind of simulate the result, that means our state average is going to go up by 1.5 or 2%. So then we kind of know that's what's going to be published. I mean, that's what's going to be publicized, not every kid grade that we're going to be able to see here to kind of say, okay, looks like we're on track, or looks like we're achieving or meeting.
I think the most important work is what's happening at the buildings,
Yep.
because they're taking the grade level goals and they're breaking it down to their building. We're going to see the impact on those. Let's say you have 75% of your kids proficient at, let's use North Bend, 3rd grade. So when they get to 4th grade, those teachers are really going to be able to unpack that. And what can we do differently with support of Christine, our instructional coaches, and academic interventionists to try to help those students who didn't hit the proficiency mark, to be able to get them to where they're being proficient. If that makes sense. And so the heavy lifting is going to be done in our buildings.
Yeah.
I know what is outside of a parent who receives their child's ISASS results or MAP or FastBridge data. I know they go to the school performance profile, but overall, I think the most important piece is that kids are showing growth. Each kid is showing growth, and then what are we doing for those kids who aren't? But again, I think if you wanted, we don't have to talk about it, go into a lot of detail. If you wanted some specific information about some of that data specific to student growth throughout the year, I could ask our building principals to have some of that data for you. Now, it's going to be a couple months once the school year gets started before they'd be able to provide that. But
Okay. I think it's something just to mull over too as we continue, because I know you finishing first year here with us, and this has always been our kind of goal, strategic goal. But I think if it works, great, but also kind of like making sure I want to make sure there's good morale around it. So if we feel like,
100%.
if it's like 3 years in a row, we've never gotten every grade to grow by an average of 3%, then it's like, do we somehow adjust so that we have, I don't want people to look at it and be like, that's not possible. 3%
Yeah.
every grade is like unrealistic,
We
so why
don't-
even try?
Yeah, we don't have that culture here.
Okay.
Which I think is one of the reasons we're at 79 to 82%. I mean, it's amazing, truly.
Yeah.
Those scores are truly amazing.
Yeah.
And again, like, I want to be held accountable to continue to grow those. By the time I retire, I'd love for us to be 90% or above. That takes everybody in this room over there, all our directors, building principals, teachers. That takes a village to get there, but
Yeah.
ultimately that's our goal. So, any other questions before we move on to environment? All right, so really our efforts with environment have been centered around modernizing our facilities, which Lori and his team do a great job. Lori does a great job of being proactive, especially financially with our budget specific to Pepple and Save. Catherine with recruiting and keeping, our staff, that's really important for us, making sure our community has a chance to voice, to get voice in major decisions. That's why I try to get out in the public and have our forums. This past year, our facilities master planning committee got to work. As you guys know, they prioritized our top 25 projects. We had a brief pause in March and April, but outside of that, they spent a lot of time presenting to get to the point they could present to you last month. We completed several major upgrades this year, and if you had questions, I'm sure Maury can speak to it a little bit more in depth than I, but including closing out the East Ridge project, installing new playgrounds, Oak Hill, CCE, finishing the baseball, softball complex, just to name a few. Also found ways, as you can see in there, to balance energy efficiency with classroom comfort. On the staffing front, we use state and regional compensation data to ensure our pay remains competitive, which is always a challenge. The positive for us is we continue to grow enrollment. It allows us to not have as much stress there, but it's paying off. We have a 74.9 staff retention rate. Is that good enough? Again, we'd like to see that higher, but that's something Catherine and I are diving into, and a low vacancy rate of around 2%. And moving into the 26-27 school year, again, continued focused on finishing our scheduled facility projects. I'll share under discussion. I have that ledger for you again. Keeping an eye on long-term sustainability as you guys do a great job with that, intentionally building a school culture where teachers and staff want to stay. There's no questions. I'll move on to fiscal responsibility. Again, working with Lori on this. Of course, our job is to be good stewards of public funds. That's your job as a board to make sure we're doing that. Our internal system is rely on Forecast 5 analytics to monitor our monthly spending and revenues, comparing them to previous years, and then our certified budget. Our target is to maintain a 10% solvency ratio and a 1.5% unspent balance ratio. At this time, we're not there yet. And I think everybody around this table knows that, but that's what we're working towards. While financial internal control training for staff, Lori and her team are doing a great job of trying to put some things in place that we didn't have in place before, to do a couple things to make us a lot more efficient and to give some our building leaders the ability to be able to manage better the funds they're given at the building level. Lori's working on some specific training for our directors and head building principals as we head into the 26-27 school year. Our priority again is to strengthen these financial health indicators, and really with the ultimate goal, like Lori and I's goal, is to get that UAB up to that 2.53% at this time next year. And so we'll continue to keep that information in front of you, along with growing our solvency ratio, of course. Okay, community and family engagement. We know our school district is going to be stronger when our families and community are actively involved. We've talked a lot about some of the disengagement at times, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but we want to make sure our patrons, community members know that they can come, and we want them to attend to give voice. So our goal was to boost event and conference turnout by 10%, communicate more consistently across multiple channels, introduce new ways to gather feedback. Our efforts to promote events really paid off. It helped us establish a clear baseline for future attendance. We've seen great traction online. As Lori has presented a couple times in her communication to the board, our Facebook and Instagram engagement's up. website traffic, and because of the chat bot use, that's an interesting phase if you haven't played around with that. But the data shows we have a growing population going to our Facebook page, and downloads for our mobile app have beaten typical national averages. We've had fantastic participation in our advisory committees. We get a lot of response when we send out those surveys. Next year, we plan to roll out, again for this upcoming school year, Parent Square. So our internal staff started that training already. So we can roll it out to our teachers come August. And the goal there is to make communication even simpler, more streamlined, while finding better ways to track attendance and keep our community connected to district goals. And Jake and Ashley have some good ideas, because a lot of that is, it's not just athletics, but activities. So whether it's choir, whether it's band, all of those things, we did not track it well enough last year, and so we're excited about that path to be able to bring better data to the board this year. Any questions on community and family engagement? Okay, for health and well-being. So again, this isn't just students. It's students, of course, is why we're in the business, but this for me means, and for our team when we put this goal together, is for our students and staff, both physical safety, mental health, and emotional well-being. This year we used state safety grant funds to upgrade building security and standardized our safety protocols. Ryan Paulson does a great job kind of spearheading things, organizing the meetings. We had feedback from our wellness committee, shows that families and staff really value our focus on healthy meals, physical activity, mental health support. Though they did point out, there's some areas we can improve, like meal quality, more opportunities for kids to move during the day, making it easier for everyone to find available resources. When it comes to emergency preparedness, our staff shared that they felt much more confident after the hands-on Alice active intruder training, though they noted the natural anxiety that comes with these drills. So that's important, we can recognize that. Additionally, we transitioned our mental health support from Care Solace to Hazel Health for this upcoming year. Really excited to bring some data. I will be able to present quarterly data to you on that, see how it's going, and to get feedback from the board. Looking ahead, we'll continue to promote our wellness committee, host advanced safety training for staff, and review how Hazel Health is working. And then the overall summary, just overall, so as we look towards the 26-27 school year, the plan is to keep pushing forward across all 5 of these key areas with board approval. Every decision we make, whether it's about classroom instruction, building upgrades, or budget allocations, it's guided by real data and the feedback we receive from our community. Our focus remains consistent and clear, I believe, helping our students reach high academic standards, maintaining safe and sustainable facilities within our budget, supporting our teachers, keeping families informed, and prioritizing the well-being of everyone in our schools. We look forward to partnering closely with the board to make sure our policies, resources, and community outreach continue to support these vital goals. I went kind of fast, only because I know you guys have a lot of policies in front of you, but this is important work, so I want to give you time to be able to ask questions. So really what we're looking at is, with the blessing of the board, we would update our website. When I met with the directors, we've communicated to our building principals, I think everyone's in alignment that we have not hit our data points that we want. And we didn't extend to some of our long-term goals. It's going to take us a couple of years, but then we'll adjust, and that will be communicated to the board, and ultimately we'll want your permission to be able to move forward with the change once we get to that point. So.
Just real quick, there was a little note there. I didn't see it till just now. You said something about training 2 more staff in Alice training.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was the whole building was trained. What's that look like when you train just 2 staff?
Well, it's a
Did the sheriff come in?
It's a train the trainer model, so that already took place. So we had that at
The whole building thing.
beginning of June,
Right.
high school. So
You're training these people to train our staff?
Yep, and so.
Okay, thank you.
Catherine's going to talk about it. We have. Go ahead.
Yes.
And
Why don't you come up here in case somebody's watching? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I missed that. Thank you.
We trained 2 more staff to then be able to go around to all the buildings
Didn't
and
know
then
that.
be able to train them. So pretty much exactly what he said.
Is it the intense training with
It was like
firearms
a
and things?
I don't think there
No.
are firearms present. No.
They did scenarios.
But they did do
Right.
drills.
Did they roam halls and everything?
What?
They go through hallways and everything?
They stayed on the south end.
Just the one side.
Yeah, so we blocked off, we had kids on the athletic side. We shut those doors, they stayed down near our PBL, did 2 days of training with law enforcement from everywhere, and
Wow,
did some
very good.
scenarios in the hallways.
And those two, we were able to get trained, it was free to us because we hosted,
Yeah, for hosting.
which was another
that was a
benefit, so.
benefit we got.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything else, like, about the process itself? I mean, the plan would be to continue to have our cabinet or our directors, when they give their yearly board reports, to be able to update. That would be part of their conversation. Of course, I'll give updates periodically if we have some major things, like when our ISS results come out. Of course, you're going to have that information in front of you. You'll have it before a board meeting in my Friday updates. But there will be just more than this July. But if there's a different direction or a different way you'd like us to communicate it, that'd be important for me to know now, so we can start changing gears. Even if you don't think about it, but if you'd like to see data a different way or something a little more.
This looks good to me.
Okay.
I think nothing changed in how the data is presented. I think one thing that resonated with me at our retreat in the winter that we did with IASB was like for presentations, making sure as building admin or directors present, like how does it tie back to district goals to help us just like weave the district goals in, because I feel like every year we talk about district goals at a meeting and then we get into the nitty gritty and next year I'm like, what was our goal again?
Yeah.
And so just helping us tie it to these 5, they're not all going to tie to every one, but somehow they should if they make it to the board table. Was my main thing. The other thing that I've always toyed with, and I don't know if we have to do it officially, but with the health and well-being, we do have this wellness committee.
Yep.
And I didn't know if at some point a board member would want to like be on it. Yeah. Because I do see how many policies are health and wellness related, and didn't know if that would be helpful at some point to have somebody attend. It'd be another meeting, but if that's a committee, it seems to be really integrated a lot of, and it's one of our district goals. So be a liaison to that. So something to think about.
How many times was that committee meeting?
Last year I think it was 3 times.
3 times.
We tried to do it quarterly, but
So,
I think one of the times even, yeah, it was supposed to be quarterly and one got canceled.
and how long are the meetings?
Like an hour.
What time do they usually start? Like,
It's after school hours typically to try to get
Yeah.
community to come.
Yeah.
But we don't do it too late in the day to try to keep teachers
Yeah.
so they can
Yeah.
come too.
so it wouldn't be that.
But we're
It's another
flexible.
commitment to somebody on the board if they can make it, but
Yeah.
not a huge commitment time-wise.
Yeah. So
Something to
maybe
think about.
something to think about. I guess board members, if you would be interested in doing that, maybe just email me and Abdurrahman and Aaron, and then we can talk. You know, if somebody wants to do it, it'd be a nice kind of ad hoc liaison role to help us feel more in touch. I think with that district goal. Anything else, guys?
That's good.
Awesome.
We'll move forward accordingly, and you should see an update on the website here by the end of the week.
Okay. We'll move into reports. Up first, we have building projects update. So more is online. Looks like we have Ray here as well. Do you want Maury? Are you going to present, or do you want Ray to talk about updates he has?
I can just highlight the some of the other projects, and Ray can handle the high school, middle school. He'll just expand on what I have written in my report, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, the high school track resurfacing, that's going as it's progressing as planned. It is ready for the painting, and the painting subcontractor is trying to finish up some other jobs and get here hopefully within a week or less. So I had contact with them yesterday, and that's their plan. So with any luck, we'll have everything completed with that on the track here this coming week. The Clear Creek Elementary roof replacement is coming along also as planned, and they will be wrapping up the installation of all the new roof system this week, and we will just be waiting on sheet metal to be fabricated and installed. But the roofs themselves will be watertight at the end of this week. And North Park Road construction, we continue to work with the city and their contractor. They will be shutting off our entrance to Oak Hill tomorrow, and we'll have it, at least one side of it, back online for us that same day. But they will have to shut off Park Road across from our entrance on Friday for more storm sewer work. But they should have that back open, at least part of it, the same day. It will be rocked in, so our any disruption there should be very short-lived on that. I've been in communication with Danny and April and the staff. Anybody that would have to use that drive, we have alternate routes for people to use in the short term on that.
Okay, thanks, Lori.
Yep.
Ray, you're up.
Want to come to the podium? There you go.
To start with, we haven't got a building permit yet,
Oh,
and we're in the process of installing the utilities for bypass and relocations. We're also starting to install sanitary sewer so that we can have the south end of the building hooked back up at the high school, and have that ready for when the kids get back. The city's been inspecting it, so actually the building permit really is the big holdup from digging footings and getting stuff ready to go on that projects. We got a little holdup with PRs and ASIs, but that is normal. They have a certain period of time to respond, and I think they got until Wednesday to respond. And one of them has been out due to heat, and the other one has had some health problems, so they were working on it together over the phone. So that's all I can tell you right now.
Sorry, what's the holdup for the building permit?
What's the holdup on the building permit? Getting it reviewed,
Okay,
getting
by
the
the
plans
city?
reviewed. And of course, the guy that's reviewing is leaving Friday. So we hope to have a permit Friday.
So even like when you say leaving, like for a vacation or just for?
No, he's leaving the city of Tiffin.
oh, so what's the backup plan there? We have
Well, we
backup.
got another one that's on board, so I don't know how long or what he knows yet, so what has been filled in. But the one that's leaving said he'd have a permit by Friday.
Oh,
Of course, he said that last Friday.
right, and he's leaving, so yeah, can't do much about it. Okay,
I've heard that for a couple of weeks now. 3
so
weeks.
should we be worried yet, Ray? or-
No, I've
Oh.
nudged here and there to see what happens.
I'll follow up with you midday, Ray, maybe on Friday, and then
Yeah,
I'll
see where we're
yeah,
at.
and
on
if we don't
Friday.
have a response, I'll reach out to Doug, and then I'll put an update in my Friday update. What that?
Well, off the record, I would say,
We are live streamed and
ask
recorded.
for forgiveness instead of permission.
Yeah,
We
Just let it roll.
that's what I'm doing.
again.
No, Ray said it. It was my suggestion.
All right.
Thank you, Ray.
Nothing further
I
said.
think there's a Wi-Fi signal disruption right now.
I thought to myself I wasn't going to bring anything goofy up, but I
Okay.
couldn't resist. Sorry.
There we go. Okay, you got your one time.
Yep,
And
that's it.
Maury, it wouldn't be me, but if I didn't mention the punch list for the baseball softball complex now that seasons are done, so I don't need an update. Just making sure you know.
Yeah, that's something that I followed up with the general contractor. It was real early last week, and I also had a member of the engineering team out that was finalizing the exact spots that we have to make corrections on. So they are going to send out recommendations to the contractor, and we will get their concrete subcontractor scheduled to come in and take care of the items. All the any other punch list items have been taken care of, with the exception we just have, it's really not a punch list item, it's more of a warranty item with a bottle filler But in the whole scheme of things, that's relatively minor. So concrete is the main thing, and we have been in close contact with everybody involved there.
Great, thanks.
Maury, I was able to make it last night and visited with the staff at the concession stand. It's beautiful, it's big, and it was very warm. How many other athletic stands you think have like a mini split or PTAC unit in it? 0?
There's a possibility we could add something like that in the future.
Or the sports
I know we have
boosters.
air conditioning in the press boxes.
Or Maury, the sports boosters maybe could add it.
Potentially.
Yeah, and I was in the press box too, and that is a small unit, but it was a great temperature change for that little unit.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
You bet.
How do you get to tour all these?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't
You
get
signed
it.
up for a shift, didn't you?
I was at the softball game last
I
night.
know, I was kidding.
But then I made the rounds, of course, while I was there.
He stayed in the press box.
You're just hi, I'm a board member.
I saw Lori outside the press box, and then Mr. Aaron sitting in the air conditioning. I thought, well, that's not a bad idea either.
Best view in the house.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we got that seating. I could have, maybe I'll go next time.
Well, next time I'll bring the wings and I'll bring the wings and ribs like I used to do at football.
Now everybody's gonna do it.
Yeah.
There goes our secret, right?
Yeah. Sorry. But he did move out of the press box, I heard, and that's when we had a rally.
Oh,
So we can thank Aaron for the rally.
thanks, Aaron. Saved it. Any other questions for Ray or Maury? Okay, I'll hand it over to you.
All right, some quick hitters here, and most of these have been on my Friday updates. And so again, postseason play started for both our varsity baseball and softball ranked teams. It was a great summer for both boys and girls. Boys won 2 games, playing tonight in the sub-state finals. They got number 1 Dubuque Waller at 7 o'clock. If they win, there's going to be a really good problem on Monday because the boys are playing, I think, at 5 o'clock in Cedar Rapids. And our girls are, of course, playing at 5:15. They're the 3 seed, playing Dodgers at 5:15 in Fort Dodge. Win or lose, the girls, it's double elimination for the girls' state softball this year. So win or lose, you can play all your way back in this new bracket. But if they win on Monday, they would play at 5 o'clock on Tuesday. If we lose, we play at 2:45 on Tuesday. I'll keep everyone posted on that, but excited about the girls, and hopefully the boys can get one tonight. Jake and Ashley are both there, so they're going to be sending me updates as we get going.
You got the scouting report
For
softball.
Dodger?
The old school.
Yeah, and I know enough. I'm not going to wear any red and black for the rest of the week. It will be completely.
Will you be able to make it Monday to Fort Dodge?
I'm going to be there. Yep.
Oh, good.
I think there's going to be a handful of us to get there. We're going to have to reconfigure that if our boys make it to try to divide and conquer. But yeah, looking forward to next week for our girls. They deserve it. It was a really fun experience last night to watch them. WAMAC update. I'll have the actual document in my Friday update of what was shared. But our attorney sent all the superintendents. It was this morning. That's why if you looked at this yesterday, it was updated today. They officially sent in our appeal to the Iowa Department of Ed. The attorney for us, the WAMAC, and Decorah Community School District, they did it at the same time. So the Iowa Department of Ed will know that it's not just our conference, it's Decorah as well, who is not happy with this arrangement. And again, I'll have the document specifically in my Friday update to the board. We have lots of action going on, like Ray and Maury talked about, middle school, high school campus, along with track resurfacing, and just a lot going on there. Our facilities looked awesome all through the postseason, so again, kudos to our facilities folks. We also have final handbooks coming for you tonight. We appreciated your patience. Typically, moving forward, we'll have all of our handbooks to you in June, but because of Jake and Ashley, like we talked about last month, we're going to have 3 coming to you. Now remember, the sponsor one is new. Again, that's why we waited for Jake and Ashley. They had some different ideas. We're working with Tom, and so that's why that one got broke apart, which is new. And then you've probably seen some posts, but our AP exam results are in. I mean, it happened about 3 weeks ago at this point, but that is some phenomenal news. It's something to be really proud of and to hang our hats on as a district. That doesn't happen on accident. That's a credit to leadership at the high school and specifically the teachers and the kiddos doing that extra work. So.
Awesome. Any questions for Mr. Davidson? Okay, we'll go into finance report.
I don't have much other than there's a lot of work going on to close out the end of the year. Just a reminder, the reports that you're gonna see for now for the next couple of months are going to be preliminary because we have our special ed billing was due for all districts across the state today, so we'll receive all of our special ed bills for our tuition out students, as well as we'll also be gaining revenue there. And special ed is a significant part and has a large impact on our UAB. So the numbers that were in the goals and strategic plan before are very, very preliminary. So again, if you have any specific questions, reach out. Auditors were here on Monday to begin preliminary field work for our audit for 26. That just involves gathering a lot of documents and documentation for receipts, for checks, you know, how did we decide to pay them, just a lot of digging deep into our books, and they're digging in deep for great reasons. And so anyway, it's also helps us to kind of think about, as we go through our year, what additional documentation may we need to have ready, so you know we don't spend as much time doing the research as well. So other than that, yeah, we're just busy closing out the books for the end of the year, and there's a lot going on in the business department, getting ready for budgets for next year.
Cool. Any questions? Okay, board report. Has anyone gone to any library?
I did Springmeyer Library. They were doing some interviews to hire new staff. Hoping to have that done here shortly.
Staff?
They had, I want to say 13 or 14. They're gonna interview 4 and then have some others on standby if the
Let's hope they
schedule.
get a lot, because that was really the only thing posted in the city for a while.
Yeah, they're hoping for the schedule is like the biggest piece, like making sure that people know that it's for evening or weekend hours. So if those candidates couldn't make that work, they have some backup ones to do.
As a board member, as a representative of our board, the board doesn't vote on that.
No.
Right.
No, non-voting. So
Right. That's
just there.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Moving to action items then. Up first is approving the 26-27 Kirkwood Community College K-12 partnership agreement. Reminder, this is just kind of an annual agreement that we do to partner with Kirkwood. The recommendation is that we approve the 2026-27 Kirkwood Community College K-12 partnership program agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B is our agreement about workplace learning connection. Again, an annual agreement for workplace learning connection through Kirkwood. The recommendation is that we approve the 2026-27 workplace learning connection MOU pursuant to the 28E agreement.
So move.
Second.
Questions or discussion here? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C is another annual review of a partnership with Kirkwood. So this one, the recommendation is to approve the concurrent enrollment courses and partnership with Kirkwood Regional Center pursuant to the 28E agreement.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item D is approving the pay app number 7R to Tricon Construction for the baseball softball complex phase 2. The recommendation is that we approve pay app number 7R to Tricon Construction in the amount of $248,169.86 for the baseball softball project phase 2.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item E is approving the purchase of a bus. The recommendation is we approve purchase of a 2027 Hogland bus in the amount of $153,500 and no cents.
Motion.
Second.
Questions and discussion here? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item F is approving network management license purchase. The recommendation is we approve the purchase of a network management license with Blue Ally in the amount of $49,685 and no cents.
Motion.
Second.
Questions or discussion here? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item G, approving purchase of robotic painter. So recommendation is to approve the purchase of a tiny mobile robot painter and 6-year data subscription for $44,675.
Motion.
Second.
I would anticipate questions if it was 400,000, so it's not, to
I wouldn't
clarify.
have thought it too.
Yeah. Questions, discussion here.
44,000.
I wanna watch this thing work.
Yeah.
I know, I'm like, can we get a tutorial? Like, this seems fun.
My neighbor got a lawnmower that's robotic and he loves it, so that was all of $2,000, so. But, no, I bet it's amazing. And when Allison was playing soccer, I would paint the field for her and it was very time consuming.
For me specifically, just me.
Yeah, because she had to have it perfect, but anyway. But no, it's a lot of labor, and you saw the notes from Maury, how many hours, and amazing, you do it on the fields and the parking lots and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Great find, Maury.
You have a question, Nick?
Does it do chalk too, or is it just paint?
So what it does for baseball and softball, it's actually a special type of paint that when it dries, it actually turns to chalk.
Okay. Cool.
So, that's the only spot, well, other than the parking lots, will have its own type of paint. We'd use exactly what we're using now for parking lots, but that would be the only kind of specialty paint we would have to get for it. And it's not real high volume for those two fields. But the soccer fields, the practice football fields, we'd use identical paint that we currently use in our sprayers.
So does like one color at a time?
It's one color at a time, but you can change things. The graphics that we can do with this thing are pretty much endless. And the reason we went with this particular brand was that we have unlimited amount of graphics that they'll do for us. So we've even, the person that gave us a demonstration even said that they have a lot of customers that will actually do fundraising. They'll have parents want to buy a school logo in their yard, and the district will go and paint a logo in yards for people and fundraise by doing that.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of opportunities for it. I've seen this particular one work in person a number of times. I have talked to other districts that own not only this painter but other brands of robotic painters, and either way they all love them, and they say that the opportunities are pretty incredible what you can do with them and the precision that they have.
That is a great idea. Instead of the lawns, Maury, at the homes, if you went around Williamsburg 20 years ago, they all had their W on the driveways. It is awesome.
Yeah.
I
Sorry,
don't
I
know
thought
what
you were
else.
suggesting we take it and do stuff in Williamsburg. I was
No,
like
I
put
wondered
CCA
more.
there,
I
was
wish you
like,
could have saw Allison's eyes just then. I don't think she knew where I was going, but
Nope.
you could charge for that.
Yeah.
You could charge
Fundraiser.
for the paint plus a profit.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
that'd be awesome.
Cool.
Great idea.
Lori, what budget is this one coming? That's the only thing I didn't
This will
get
be
it.
Pepple, the
Pepple.
equipment,
Yes,
that standard
definitely, yeah.
equipment budget that we have every year. This will just be one of their purchases that come out of there.
Thank you.
Kale, can you put a drone
I
up?
apologize. I should have had that in the S bar, so my apologies on that.
You're good.
Okay. You'll put a drone up the first time they do a field or something? I think that'd be so satisfying to watch it. We get some hits on the socials. Yeah. Okay, any other questions, discussion here? All those in favor?
Alright.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item H is approving the 26-27 athlete parent handbook. Recommendation is we approve the revisions to the 26-27 athlete parent handbook as they are in the attached copy.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion on this one?
I would say I appreciate the updates on the handbook and good work.
It was credit to Mr. Daniel and Ms. Jake and Ashley. They did heavy lifting on it, so for sure.
No, I thought it was really nice. I like the opening comments and the end comments too. That really help us tie it all back to the overall student wellness and growth. So. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item I is the coach's handbook. So the recommendation is that we approve revisions to the 2026-27 coach handbook as attached.
Motion.
Second.
Questions or discussion here? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item J is for the sponsor handbook. So the recommendation here is to approve the 2026-27 sponsor handbook.
Motion.
Second.
I was going to say, I really do appreciate it being split out into a different group because it is very different activities. I did notice, I think it's still on the front page, it says coaches/sponsor handbook. Probably like Lori just didn't catch it yet, but I can email her too.
We need to update that.
Right, that's not,
Yep.
okay, I was like, maybe that is supposed to still be there?
And that's where Colin's spot, yeah.
No, it would just be sponsored.
Yeah.
Okay,
Is
it
the
is.
board okay with us making that edit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
that's what I was gonna say.
It's
Sorry,
just the
I was like
title.
late last night looking through some stuff and I was like, oh, I
One
got
of
it.
those things.
And I was like, if we just do it now and I tell you and you're okay with it, then we can move on. Okay. Any other questions or discussion on this one? No, you're like kind of going back and
No.
No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So item K is establishing the public hearing date for school calendar revisions for the 26-27 year. As a reminder, these are just minor changes.
I talked about. So
Absolutely.
this came up because when we were looking at our calendar, we had Clipper Academy on it when it was approved in December because we had Clipper Academy. At that time, we hadn't made the decision to move forward. That was the first judgment. And then there was a start time that needed to go. We had it listed at 8:20. It needs to be 8:25. When I called the ASB, I asked what would be their recommendation on how we should do this. And they said anytime, their recommendation is always to be transparent, like 100% transparent, which is what we want to be able to, again, have this go in front of, have a public hearing every time we make a change. That's why I'm bringing C to you originally, so we had that as a full day. I'll chalk that up as a first year superintendent mistake. I think after the feedback we got this year, our staff really appreciated that early out in the last day. Also knowing we adjusted the hours, so we have a lot more wiggle room this year than we did last year. I think everybody around the table knew how stressed I was when we started the process. I wasn't sure if we'd be able to make it without going into July at one point, but we were fortunate. So this would allow us, instead of having to go and have an additional public hearing later in the spring, I thought about waiting to the spring to see where we're at. My recommendation, so the change would go from 1,147.07 to 1,145.07, when knowing we only needed 1,080 hours, which is the minimum for student contact hours. So I just made that change as well. That would be going to the public hearing, so we can get feedback for next month.
Perfect. Yeah.
We'll do our best to really minimize changes, and again, we shouldn't be closing buildings or restructuring buildings like we have to do for the CCA building.
Okay. Great. So the recommendation then is we establish the public hearing for Wednesday, August 19th, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
Any more on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item L is accepting a donation from the football parents for the football program. The recommendation is we accept the $8,664.91 donation from the football club toward the purchase of a football trailer.
Motion.
Second.
Questions or discussion here? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna go ahead and move into our board policy revisions. For this, I'll go ahead and read them all, and then we can talk about them all once we get a motion, if there are questions. So the recommendation is to approve the board policy revisions as recommended by IASB and district administration for the following policies. 203, Board of Directors Conflict of Interest. 20603, Secretary Treasurer. 50709, Wellness Policy. 70102, Transfer of Funds. 70103, Financial Records. 70105, Fiscal Management. 70402, Debt Management Policy. 70501, Purchasing Bidding. 70504, Expenditures for a Public Purpose. 70701, Presentation and Publication of Financial Information. 708, Care, Maintenance, and Disposal of School District Records. And 712, Technology and Data Security. Okay. We have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions about those?
70501 purchasing and bidding. So the handbook, the club handbook that we approved at the last page said purchases above 30,000 needs to be board approved. This one we're updating to 50. Are we gonna also match those two, or different categories?
You would need to
We'll
match
have
that.
to make a new, that's kind of a sheet that we have that everyone has.
Okay.
And we'll have to make a new one of those and insert that into
Once we
all of the
approve here.
places, if you approve it.
Got it.
Yeah.
I was also gonna ask about the stricken language on that same policy, but the IASB note below said it was removed to be in compliance of the new 2080 agreement approved by legislature. Yeah.
Yep.
Any other things? I think I had a comment on one, but I was just excited about, I think it's in this one, the funds, transfer of funds. Oh no, it's a different one. Okay, it's a different one. I'll comment on it next time. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So now we're into the board policy review. So the recommendations, we approve board policy review to continue and maintain the 5-year review requirement for the following policies. 214 public hearings, 215 board of directors records, 21601 association membership, 21602 board of directors member development and training, 21603 board of directors member compensation and expenses, and 217 gifts to board of directors.
So moved.
Second.
Questions and discussion here? I haven't gotten a gift, so for anybody, so it's good to know there's a policy if there ever tried.
You guys paid.
These are great policies. The gift is being with you guys twice a month. Okay.
That's worth $3 right there.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So now we have our board policy first reading for some new policies that came out based on legislation.
I want to make sure the board's aware. So if you click on O, approve board policy first reading,
Yeah.
just that summary part, it's important, you know. Lori and I talked a lot about this and we worked with Sarah. So I just wanted to know, like, policies 50406, 60403, and 60504, those aren't new policies. Those should have been revisions, but because of the legislation changes, we had to create regs. And if I would have been in your seat, I would have had a lot of questions if we're bringing a reg to you, which we typically don't bring regs for your approval.
Yeah.
But they're regs that if you get your event in public are potentially going to be around those regs. Like, what do you guys, how are you handling that? I thought it was important that you guys had that information, just because they are, I don't want to say radical changes, but they're something that's there's going to be conversations out in the public and community around them. So you won't see a second reading for those policies. Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
it's not, I didn't think it would make sense. So I wasn't trying to make it confusing. I was trying to make it, but I wanted to call that out.
Okay. Yes. that makes sense. Okay, so these policies, the recommendation to approve tonight the first reading of board policies for those ones.
Yep.
And then the others as well, the changes to others as recommended by IASB and district administration. Those policies are 503.11 disruptive behavior, 503.11 1R1 disruptive behavior removal procedures, 503.11 1R2 disruptive behavior removal procedures for nonviolent behavior for students with an IEP, 504.06 student activity program, 504.06R1 student activity program regulation, 604.03 program for gifted and talented students, 604.03R1 program for gifted and talented students regulation, 605.04 technology and instructional materials, 605.04 E1 technology and instructional materials exhibit, 705.06 federal awards compliance, 706.04 time and effort reporting.
Motion.
Second.
Can I add something before we move on?
Absolutely.
So, I think we'll have probably a lot of conversations around 50311 as we get into the school year. It's a pretty substantial change if you look at those regs. The intention is to help support staff, which I think it does, but I also think, knowing what I know from being in education for 25 years, I think there's going to be, I'm just anxious to see how things play out across the state with the way the regs, what we're expected to do as far as oversight. And so I think the intention's really good. I'm just not so sure if it's going to be able to be a sustainable long term, but we'll see. And then 50406 is again 8th grade eligibility. That reg, again, Jake and Ashley and Tom and Regan and Kurt spent a lot of time making sure they were all comfortable with that language, and I'm very confident that that's a good direction to go. With both though, we're still receiving guidance. It's really murky guidance at this point. I think most districts are very close between the disruptive behavior and the student activities program specifically, but new guidance that comes out from ISBE or from any type of legislation that could be introduced in the spring again could change that. So I'll continue to keep everyone updated. And ISB is doing a good job. They're just going to be behind the 8 ball because there's so many legislative changes like we've talked about over the past couple months.
Just to clarification, when on the note it says policy 50406, 60403, and 60504 would not be coming back. Those are new policies, right?
They're not new policies.
The student activity program.
That was in there. The only thing that was new, if you click on that, was the yellow. The yellow piece was added. Besides that, we have the student activity program. And so that's why I wanted it. It's not a new policy. It would have been a revision if we didn't have to completely have a reg. I hope that makes
the
sense.
reg's new, but the policy.
Right.
I didn't want to cause confusion, so if I caused confusion by doing this, I apologize. Lori and I and Sarah talked a lot about this. What would be easiest for you guys?
Yeah, reading some of these policies, the disruptive behavior, that was interesting how some of the mechanisms that they have, if the scenarios, I mean, for those who haven't read this yet, it's pretty interesting reading it, and like you said, the application of it is going to be pretty interesting how it goes. I guess my question would be, some of them I think require like an appeal process where you have to put a committee together that has teachers, building administrator, and community members maybe together for
Megan's
appeals?
we're gonna have a district team,
Okay.
and then she's gonna work with building principals. So they have to have building level teams to really go through the data and make collective decisions.
Yeah.
Megan's gonna be the point person from the district. The biggest piece for us, I think, that could cause, and it's not just us, it's across but especially when you have staff in rooms where we have some explosive behavior. If you read the regs and dove into it, like, staff have the ability, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it will be different language where there's a certain amount of leave they can take based on what they experience in the classroom. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying it's not, it's just how we can make sure we can manage classrooms. And at the time, it's really tough to get substitutes specific to positions. And so we're just gonna have to maneuver through it. It's not any harder for us than it is any other district. I'm just anxious to see how impactful it is. So, see how it plays out. and if it stays, I have a feeling there's gonna be some changes, so.
On 60504, technology and instructional materials, the one that's attached still has the bracket in a certain amount of time not to exceed 60 minutes per school day end bracket. That will be made into a number, right?
So we're doing up to 60 minutes.
Okay, so that will be replaced
Yeah.
with up to 60 minutes. Okay, got it. And then I think the fourth bullet below in that list, the policy will not apply in the following circumstances. The fourth bullet says state assessment screenings, progress mentoring. Is that monitoring? Okay, I was just like, maybe progress mentoring is a thing.
No,
Okay.
progress monitoring.
Okay, I just was like, maybe that's a thing. I wasn't sure.
Good catch.
Oh, well, I mean, it's a minor thing. I was interested in what progress mentoring is, if it was. That's the one that I had like a comment. I was like, which one do I have to find? Okay.
So then with regards to 8th grade participation, we're essentially leaving it up to the head coach for
But
every.
we're gonna be able to support the coach by having activities director, like as the process calls out, it's not gonna be in isolation to help protect the coach. And just like everybody else, sometimes it takes a village to get it right. We just wanna make sure we get that process right.
Yeah.
But yes, the need of, I think the legislation's intended to really help the small schools, because you gotta remember the state average for all our 300+ school districts in the state, the average is 600 students in this school district. It's really, the intention is to make sure those smaller schools have the ability to be able to keep competing athletically. We don't need numbers at CCA World Class because of that, but it doesn't mean that there every once in a while couldn't be a student athlete that would be ready mentally and physically. This would allow them to do it, and we would have procedures in place to be able to do it the right way.
Yeah, I initially, when I heard about the 8th grade thing, I was just like, no way. I'm just like, from a social emotional, like all those things
That's a big
standpoint.
piece to it.
Yeah, I was just like, what are we doing? Like, we're supposed to be on academics. Why are we doing this? But I really like the policy, how it's put together, that it's very much like student-centered. And unfortunately, the thought that did come up in my mind is, wow, if we're the only one that doesn't do this in the area, how many more open enrollment outs are we going to see?
You will lose kids.
Which it shouldn't be that way, but that is how funding is. And so I think it's a nice way to continue to center it on student support, smaller districts that are having struggles with athletics. And then I think, we already know at WAMAC-wise that we're kind of the big school in the WAMAC, and so knowing that we don't need those numbers and we're doing well already, but have a possibility.
Are there any restrictions around level? Like, could they play on the freshman team, JV team?
Yep. It's any level 9 through 12.
Yeah, high school. It doesn't differentiate if it's varsity, freshman, sophomore. Just if you do high school, you're pretty much locked in that one for that year.
Okay.
Bouncing back between high school and middle school,
Can't do
you
that.
can't do that. Yeah,
Gotcha.
For that sport.
correct.
Yeah, it's like super interesting. It makes me wonder if we're slowly just going to be like, okay, now 7th can play up and now 6th grade can actually be in sports.
That question was asked 9 towards no.
Yeah.
But it was a valid question, really.
Yeah.
Because if you're a smaller school and
You
you're
decimate
moving all
your 8th grade
8th
team.
graders,
Yeah.
then what do you do with it? So you just don't. Yeah. So and they talked about how that was going to hurt conference, like middle school.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to have that issue, but some of the smaller schools
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just hope kids don't get like beat up so bad, because even if you're really good at a sport, you're just not the same size physically at 8th grade.
Doubt it's going to be football too often.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Not
Yep.
as football, but still, you're just like not quite.
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, any other questions or discussion here? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going into item P then, approving our consent items. The recommendation is to approve the consent items as presented.
Motion.
Second.
My one question is just that gift, the football gift, is separate on the agenda because it's over $5,000. And I guess it's not tracked to this, but theoretically, would there be a reason in the future to change the policy? Because I was like, why, when I first read it, I was like, why isn't this just on our gifts and donations? Because it's $8,000. Like, is there like a state legislation or like something that keeps us at 5,000?
No, that was the board's wish at one point, whenever it was, we changed it.
Because we still see everything. It's not like we can like something's getting accepted and like we don't know. We still can look at it on the consent.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
If you want it that way, we can definitely do it that way.
I'll put it down and talk about it next board leadership, and then we can always email out and talk about it at another meeting. But it was just like weird. It's just funny when it's like, oh, it's $8,000. Like it's a gift. Some said that you like, are we really gonna say no? Yeah. Okay. Any other things for this?
I had a question on the bills sheet, just kind of refreshing my mind how it's set up. So this is just like invoice entered into the invoicing system, the bills, the board file report that's printed.
Okay.
I just scanning through it. I saw the pay up for the baseball softball complex, the pay up 7, but then we approved it earlier. So this is the board report file that we're looking at is entries into the invoicing system, not necessarily it's been paid, and we're just approving it backward.
Nothing goes paid as checks are sent until the board's approved them.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we include the pay up one so that the check can go out tomorrow.
Got it.
Otherwise, we'd have to wait a whole month to issue the check.
Got it.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions? Comments? Thanks, of course, to the guests on this one as well for gifts and donations. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're moving into our discussion items. So our follow-up topics. First, we have the facilities master planning, and then we have 8th grade participation.
Yep.
We can
Yeah.
switch order.
You want to do the 8th grade first?
Sure. So just kind of talk
Yeah,
about it.
just, I think the board is, without saying it, I guess I just wanted to make sure we were getting your blessing to be able to move forward, because again, that's gonna trigger the reg and that policy,
Yeah.
so.
Which I know we just approved the policy,
Yep.
but I just said it, and I want a space so we can talk about it more. Any concerns? The policy, like I said, I think it's well done, but it leaves a lot open to operations, of course. So if we have concerns or things we want to bring up from a governance standpoint that might affect operations, now would be a time.
I think my only thing, excuse me, as this new legislation is enacted and some schools are starting to see the policies come through, I think I forwarded an email with the link to one of our neighboring districts' webpage, like a landing page with a lot of good information in there. I hope we have something like that so that it's not, the information is not passed word to mouth. There's a landing space that you can go and see everything, and there's a nice FAQ that the HSU has, or IG.
Yep, that was sent out.
Yep.
When Jake, in that original messaging.
Right.
That Jake sent out, or that Lori had, she shared out from Jake.
Yeah.
The plan is to do that. It won't look the same as Lidmar's, but it will be the same
Okay.
concept. It will have our information, but we didn't want to do that without board approval. So.
Yeah.
Well, you sent that to him too? I sent it too.
Yeah.
Bombard him with it.
Linmar, yeah, and then when we board leaders actually, you're like, you should see Linmar's,
They
and you
have
go,
not
that's the
very
link
good,
I put in.
They have someone that is in the Iowa Girls Athletic Association, so they were able. I mean,
they were on
they had
top.
that live on July 1st.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
That brings up another good point. So fiscal start July 1st. I went back and looked at a lot of schools kind of open up their registration for activities and on July 1st. Ours historically has been right about now, July 15th, July 18th. Is that right? I think.
Ours is open now. It's been open since early and kind of late spring
yeah.
for returning students as well as new.
Activity registrations. I just went on Bound yesterday and
Is it?
tomorrow.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
understand activities, so I'm not involved in activities
Yeah,
registration.
they're gonna open up the bound registration tomorrow.
Yep, that's
Jake is gonna do a
Sorry.
test run in the morning.
Got
to
it.
Make sure there's no bugs, and then they plan on, he met with Kurt and Ashley so that we can align everything between both buildings, so that should hopefully be up tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Laura and I were
Yeah,
the
no,
same
my
page.
bad. Yeah.
You're good.
I forgot.
No, not yet.
I forgot we moved it to bounds. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yep, that's good.
So That's all I had. Okay, we'll move forward as such. Just wanted to make sure we had that on record, so.
Okay.
And then the facilities master, this is the document you seen last year. I wanted to have a conversation with everyone around the table about expectations. What would you like to see specific for me to get this information in front of you so we can keep it as a focus? I could have a talking point every month. I could do it once every few months. This document, what I'll do is this is a PDF version. And so Lori, I, and Maury meet once a month. One of the things if and when we'd have any updates, I could share that with you as a discussion item, just so we have real-time access each month. Of course, I'd like to do that, but just any expectations from you around what you expect from us as we're, again, this is a recommendation. Those of you around the table get to make the decision.
I think from my point of view, but I'll hear others of course too, just knowing like these are recommendations, do these map onto like the department goals? Like, I mean, I know Moore was a part of it, like is this what we're planning to do from like a recommendation, you guys as well recommending to the district? So like this is where we should spend money, we know we have this money to spend, this is the plan.
Yep. So Lori specifically, but Lori, like we had to be in support of like we would have pushed on the committee if we were going in the direction where one, we wouldn't be fiscally responsible, we wouldn't have the funds. Now, legislation this past spring kind of changed things. Lori still feels comfortable with how we have things earmarked, but again, like it's not a little thing. Like there would be some things that would really change our path. Any additional legislation specific to SAVE and PEPL, or 1 cent sales tax, or if we'd have anything introduced that would impact that would change this. If all of a sudden we have a decrease in enrollment, that would change things. Anything catastrophic that would come up in the district that would sabotage our UAB further, so there's some variables that are outside of our control, but of course you guys would be the first to know about those if they happen. So as long as things go as a normal school year would, this would be a recommendation right now with the price point. But like a perfect example of your question is like the pool partnership down, that could be low. We have 1.5. That could be 3. Like we have to get into, it was 1.5 a few years back. So that's a placeholder. And so we'd have to bring that back to the board when and if we get serious conversations with Tiffin.
And then, so the ones that are slated in 26, 27, are we moving on all these already?
For some of them, like for example, the pool boiler, we have 75,000 as placeholder. If you remember, it's cheaper than that. It was like 40,000. Lori, are you still on?
No. That's okay.
Some of that things like the 130,000. I know I don't have an official update there, so I don't want to speak publicly. But I think our high school stadium scoreboard, that will be 26, 27. It would be in the spring. We have to have it ordered if we're able to get that additional 130-some thousand through donations, but we'd have to have it done, the money in place by March, so we could have the work done in July, a year from now, so it's ready for the football season in the fall.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like, oh, go ahead.
I think the other thing to remember is that this is fluid, like everything else we do, but if we would happen to have a piece of equipment, like, need major repairs or need to be replaced or some of those kind of things, then it may take the place of one of these projects in PEPL or SAVE, either one. And then we would have to again reassess and align which one do we have to bump out another year, or there's just a lot of moving parts to it all.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, you make this like a puzzle that shifts around if emergency come up and something needs to be bumped out. Yeah. Right. When that information is brought to us, you attach this one to it. Be like, facility master plan, we're supposed to do this. The project that we can move down to replace this one would be this one, and kind of shuffle stuff around.
It's kind of like buses. If we were to have, a bus disappear, not disappear, but no longer function. Yeah. Blow up, or anything, an engine can go, or any of those types of things. If we need to replace current things, that will bump out other potentially PEPL projects.
So I think,
or SAVE.
I think then, just like what you're saying, it's like we're bumping something off different, just updating it
and highlight so you guys know
Yeah.
what's changed.
What was changed? I think the other is if you're doing, like, we get it, it's paid for, done, let us know, because that's like, yay!
A celebration mark.
Yeah,
for next year.
check mark.
Sounds good.
The other thing is probably, like, I see there's quite a few things that are like June 27 is when it would be, and I know legislation will be a thing, so I probably, I don't know, I think maybe like April-ish, if we think about it, like making sure to touch base in April, like, are we still thinking the repeater systems and all this stuff that's like target start date is June of 27, is that still on track?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you probably would update us anyways, but just in front of mind, that'd be
It
best.
would be easy for me to have a placeholder
Yeah.
every couple months.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was gonna be like, oh, January, and then we'll know, and I'm like, oh no, because that's when legislative session's starting, so we won't know anything yet. Okay.
Really, just to be transparent, like the 5-year flex, all of those projects, we're basing potentially, like if we have to try to pass a bond, that based on projections, again, based on projections, RSP, that would roughly fall around that 2030. If we get to that point where we're growing by 500 students, because remember the presentation, RSP,
Yeah.
both our middle school and high school would be at over 90% capacity, which would trigger for us to have to do something there. And then of course, most of you around the table have been part of a bond, or I think most of you. The key to that is going to be able to get out in front of our patrons and community members and be able to talk through things, but then also be able to try to connect as many projects to as many different buildings as we can, and that will allow us to get that bond passed. And so doing it the right way and being transparent, communicating the why behind it, which just like in every bond is going to be important. But
Yeah, the last two things I'm going to add to this is make this one available. I mean, I would say put this in front of the community so they know this is coming up. I mean, you get go into some of the summer sports, people are like, what's going on over there at middle school? They had no idea. I mean, beside the fence and moving ground, they had no idea what was going on there. So advertising, publicizing all these big projects so that, might have a grandpa who's in the community that will be like, okay, here's a $100,000 check for this.
That's a great idea. When we have our first semester and second semester, our leadership, I don't know what we want to call that.
Yeah.
Something we didn't do this past year that we're planning on doing this year to try to draw or gain some community engagement.
Yeah.
That would be a great plan.
And involving the foundation or a booster club for, somebody wants to throw in something for the gym floor at Amana Elementary, Rick's HVAC or whatever, put your logo at the corner there.
concession stand.
Yeah, so being creative to kind of minimize the tax burden, I guess, and involving community pride and what do you call it?
We should demo the new painter at one of our leadership things and then be like, now sign up here to pay for it to come to your house.
Yeah, and just outside of the box
Or
ideas.
pay for it, and that'll help pay for these projects.
Right,
Yeah. Anything else on the Facilities Master Planning Committee?
I'll plan on just having it as a discussion item every couple of months, unless it could be monthly if we have some changes. But I don't see that happen very often.
So sorry, you can tell me if I can't, Lori, but they weren't changes to policies, so I didn't talk about them earlier, but can I ask questions about policies now during our discussion follow-up time? Like they're not resulting in changes. Okay, so the wellness policy, all those food dyes that can't be in anything, how much is that impacting? Cause that's even like classroom, like we have to push this out to parents, cause if there's celebrations at school, they probably can't bring fruit snacks. Right?
Again, people making decisions outside
like the concession stands can't serve this stuff.
I'm not saying they don't care about how we're going to oversee it, but the reality is you're dealing with kids. And of course, we want kids to be healthy, but you can't have a whole bunch of things that kids dislike and expect them to eat it. So Missy is fantastic. She's a rock star in her role, but
I mean,
it's definitely a challenge.
This says it's up to all foods and beverages through school meal programs, a la carte sales, vending machines, classroom activities, celebrations. So like when I go to sign up for Halloween treats for my kid, or we do like fall, I'm not gonna have to like figure out what snack I can take that doesn't have these dyes in them.
How could I say this?
Is there gonna be like a cheat sheet for me?
So
Figs only. Figs.
We have to do a good job at the
Figs.
building level to oversee though, to make sure parents
Everyone
are aware
gets
you
figs
can't
that
bring
year.
in certain things. And when they bring in certain things, you have to have a difficult conversation to let
like at back to school, now we're gonna have like exhibits of like, here's what's allowed. And it's like 3 things. Okay. Especially with like all the cyclospora outdated, I'm not gonna go pick up carrots from the store at this time.
Items,
So-
lower elementary.
Okay, I just like want to make sure I was reading that correctly. And again, I was like, we can't change this, so it's I'm not going to talk about it during the policy
It's not
approval.
specific to us either. I mean,
No,
it's
it's-
all districts. but
Fruit snacks.
Just
Okay.
remember that for the year event, like we're just following our policy.
And remember, it's from
Talking about
midnight the
Halloween.
night before until 30 minutes after the end of the school day.
So concession stands.
Concession stands are okay as long as they're far enough away from the end of the day.
Right.
But if they're too close to the end of the day. Okay, I just want to make sure we all realized
Missy's on.
that was happening.
She's got it.
Oh, I'm sure she is. But like the a la carte, like what's gonna be left to pick? Okay, all right. I'll get off that soapbox now. The other fun one, I did figure out what I wanted to say, or which one it was. And you guys see that there's a policy IASB has to put out for financial records. And at the bottom, the footnote says, this applies to only one district in the state. That is us, guys. It's the Library Levy Fund.
Yes.
I know. I thought that was cool that like every other district has to read that and be like, who's that? And it's us. So look at us, be number 1 in something. Not the only thing, but not the only thing. But I thought it was cool that like literally IASB is like calling us out for that. That was my comment on that one.
And they all know it's us.
Yeah,
They
know.
do. I mean, it's mentioned
They're
at
like,
every
"Dang it."
financial workshop that we go to. They'll say.
And we need to get it
We're
up
famous.
to.
Amana, yeah.
We
For
need
many
to get
reasons,
It's a
but
10,
this one.
20 cents
Yep,
for the last 20 years, so it needs to go up.
it does. We're working on it.
I just was like, what are they
It's got-
talking about? I was like, wait, I
It's
think
got to be
that's
a law,
us. It is
though,
us.
right? It's going to be
It
a
takes
law
legislative
through.
action to change it, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's written in code.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I got really excited reading that. Next meeting topic. So next time we'll have Dr. Scherz here with us.
Yep.
And we will be a few days out from the start of the school year.
Yeah.
So we will
Wednesday
be
before.
feeling all the excitement, all the feelings.
And then we'll have not Kirkwood, the University of Iowa here in September. If you recall to talk about, if you recall that when we went to that Johnson County Educator breakfast, there were some changes I think will be important. Well, not changes, a different way to think about things from the 4-year university compared to a 2-year junior fellowship. It'll be good information to share with the board. So looking forward to that as well.
We also will have Maura presents and Catherine next time. And next time is the closed session. I messed that up. But next time is the closed session to
Yes.
kick off that process. The only other thing I want to make everyone here aware of, because we don't meet till August 19th, our next board leadership is until August 10th. So you've been only getting monthly emails from me, and that's because board leadership is only meeting once a month during the summer, not because I've forgotten to update you guys on things. So, okay.
So August 19th.
Oh yeah, it's the high school parent night.
Yeah.
Well, it's a.
Casey and I have 9th graders.
Oh, so you're both going to be at that.
Is it going to be different than what we did at the end of, towards the end of the?
Yeah, I think we switched it because there's an ICANN representative that's gonna come in and she can give some information on her part. We're gonna work on that schedule soon, so I can share it with you when it's done.
Okay.
What time does it start?
Just
6. I thought it said 6 on the parent square.
Yeah, I just posted something in Brightly yesterday. I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked that far ahead, I'm still working on the rest of this.
That's okay. So I think because you had texted me too, and I was like, oh, I wonder if we should move, but we have Dr. Scherz coming and booked. So I think we have to keep it the 19th, but I want, like, you two, obviously it's recorded. Her presentation's gonna be great, I'm sure, but you need to do what's best for families and students, so you need,
We
yeah.
will have it recorded.
Oh, you'll have it recorded too?
Yeah, I anticipate we'll record it.
Okay. So, but if you want to go in person, like, totally understand, do what's best for you and your families. Ours will be recorded too. I'm sure Maury and Catherine will have groundbreaking information, but you'll be able to see it online. So, any other follow-up or topics that we need to do now? Okay, who wants to do the honors?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Well done.